This is episode 37 of the Bits For You podcast. This is your host, Robert. Let's start off with Gamefly. Today's show is brought to you by Gamefly.com. You sign up for a premium free 30-day trial, one game out at a time. For my listeners, that is the promo we have here. So you visit GameflyOffer.com/bits4you to get that offer. Gamefly has over 8,000 new releases and classics to rent for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii, Nintendo Switch, and so on. As a member, you rent as many console and handheld games as you want and get them delivered right to your mailbox for one low monthly fee. And if you like the game so much, you get to keep it. They'll ship you the original box. You already have the disc at home. Continue playing it. You keep the game for a low used price. Keep in mind there's no due dates or late fees. Gamefly offers the ability to rent Blu-ray and DVD movies as well for the same price. It's already included. So you're getting video games, you're getting Blu-ray movies to rent. This is just freaking awesome. You guys gotta sign up. Gameflyoffer.com/bits4you. Again, that's Gameflyoffer.com/bits4you for your free 30-day trial. We also got Loot Crate. Loot Crate is giving you guys an offer here. You go to lootcrate.com and you can save 10% on any new subscription. All you gotta do is go to trylootcrate.com/bits4you, enter promo code BRIDGE10 for 10% savings. So Loot Crate is a mystery crate that delivers the best in geek gear, collectibles, apparels, gadgets, art. It's like getting Comic-Con in a box. It's a monthly subscription. Again, you can cancel any time. There's no contracts, so you can just try it out for a month, a couple months, cancel it, and then if you want to go back to it, you can always go back to it. It's a great service. It's about $20 a month. You can get 6 to 8 items in the crate, and you have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. When the cutoff happens, that's it. It's over. So, let's see some of the things that we're getting this month. So, this is going up. It's going up today, the 18th. So, it looks like they have some Fallout gear, Back to the Future. But I could be wrong. So, just better off going to the website. Loot Crate offer. Sorry, it's not Loot Crate offer. It's trylootcrate.com/bits4you to sign up. And when you support Loot Crate, you support this podcast, the Bits For You podcast. So again, save 10% on new subscription. Try lootcrate.com/bits4you. Again, that's trylootcrate.com/bits4you to save 10% on any new subscription. You have to enter the promo code BRIDGE10. BRIDGE 10 for 10% savings. All right, so enough of that. We have Sean, a fan of wrestling, a fan of all things geek, I guess you could say. But we mostly talked wrestling and his documentary. That's right, we have a documentary filmmaker up and coming to talk on our show. So his documentary, I can't give out too much what it is, but you guys are gonna listen. It's fun. It was great talking to him. Definitely support his Indiegogo. It's still up. There's like 5 days left or 4 days left on it. The Life of Radio Shack. Well, that gives it away, but there's more to it. A documentary. So when you go to Indiegogo.com, you search for The Life of Radio Shack, a documentary, and you'll see it right there. You can back it, help him get his documentary going. And he's started already, but he needs some help from us, so that's why he's on the crowdfunding page, Indiegogo. And enough of that. We're gonna talk to Sean now. Enjoy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of that spot where they used to put the Divas matches, and everybody goes in their bathroom breaks.
Yeah, that's exactly right before the main event. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a bad spot for it.
I'm involved with independent wrestling. I run shows a couple times a year here in my little town of Clearfield, and we actually on our first show we had Superfly Snuka here.
Oh, really?
And we've had some other guys come through, like we had Johnny Gargano here, and we've had he's Elias Sampson now. He used to be called Logan Chulo. He wrestled here quite a few times back before he went to WWE.
I wasn't aware that Elias was like was in the Indies at all.
Yeah, just mostly. He didn't get around a lot. He was just in the Pittsburgh area for the most part.
Yeah, I've gone to the local one around here. They've got in a few big guys, stars like Zack Sabre Jr. They've had I'm drawing a blank. Abyss has been here.
Oh, Abyss, that's cool.
I wasn't there for that one. Yeah, they had a few guys here, and they have the local guys. Actually, Keith Lee is their champion, and he's kind of popular now.
Yeah, we get a pretty crazy crowd here. I actually had to throw a lady out one time because she hit one of the wrestlers with a chair.
Really?
That's crazy. With a chair. Do you remember what caused her to do that?
She was just fired up, man. She was just she was completely bought into the whole story, and she had enough of this one guy, and she took a chair to his head.
Maybe a little drinking involved there too.
Yeah, very likely. Yeah.
Alcohol in the system. Oh, that's crazy. Javier and I went to. We helped out a friend. This is like 12 years ago. He was part of the indie community as well of wrestling, and we helped him set up the ring and went backstage. It was fun.
He owned the ring.
It was his ring. Yeah,
yeah.
It was crazy building that ring.
Oh yeah, it's a lot hard. It's a hard work to put one of those rings together. Yeah. Those heavy pieces of wood and all that metal and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
But it was fun.
That card, it was stacked. I don't know how they even had money for that. They had Joey Styles, Terry Funk, Mick Foley,
the Dudleys,
Jake the Snake Roberts, the Dudleys, MVP before he became MVP.
Right.
Yeah. Did they draw that or?
It draw good. I get good for an indie show, but I just don't know how they made their money. I'm still missing guys here that I didn't mention. Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
I'm trying to think of the other guys. I'm drawing a blank as well. So long ago, 12, 13 years ago.
Each one of those guys, at least $500, $1,000, $1,500 at least.
Right.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I think they were making a DVD out of it. I
Yes,
never saw it or bought it, but just alone the kind of guys they had there. Dusty Rhodes was there too. I remember that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, this was stacked. Like, who the hell? I didn't know how they were making their money.
Well, they probably weren't. They probably were just happy to break even if they could.
Yeah, seriously, stack hard. I remember because I was helping out Jimmy Hart, and Roberto here was helping Mick Foley put his autographs and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Was I? Cool. I don't even remember half the things I did that day. It was so long ago. I don't remember that we. I just
remember because I was super jealous. I mean, I like Jimmy Hart and all, but Mick Foley, I was a big fan for.
Yeah, I don't remember that day. We had to wake up like at 4 a.m, meet at his house, drive there, and then we didn't get home till like 1 a.m. So it was like almost the entire 20 hours we were just out there in the event. I was so freaking tired. That's all I remember.
I remember now too. Great, what's his name? Kamala, and then Blue Meanie was there too.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you're right. He was there.
Yeah, they had a match. I remember that because we went. Remember, we went to go pick them up at the airport.
We did go pick them up.
To at least $20,000, I would think, in talent.
Oh shit! I don't remember. Oh man, that was fun. But that's cool. So, Sean. The real reason you're here is, besides, obviously the cool stuff like wrestling, is you have a film. I came across this on the internet, and I was like, shit, this is freaking interesting. Sean is making a documentary. a documentary of a place that most people visit at least once. At least anybody that's
Yeah.
No,
well, back in the heyday, most people went there
back in the heyday.
Or
Yeah. So, what inspired you to do the Life of Radio Shack?
My dad worked for Radio Shack for over 30 years. So even back before he started when he was 16 years old. So when I was born, by the time I was born, he was the manager of a pretty large store in the Pittsburgh district, a Radio Shack, South Hills Village store. And my mom has always told me that they had a playpen in the back room for me when I was a little baby. And then when I got a little older, my dad would make me stock the AA batteries, And then I got to play with all the computers, and in the 80s, that's when the computers came out.
Yeah.
And the CD-ROMs, when I played Seventh Guest on the CD-ROM, and all the way through, I played Tetris for the first time on one of the computers in there, when I was a little kid. So just basically my entire childhood, I was in the Radio Shack. I mean, I wasn't there every day, but I was there a lot.
It was a big part of your childhood, like you said. You have all these memories just in that place.
Big time. And there was these communities around these stores, like the same people, the regular customers would come in all the time.
Right.
And it's all these eccentric, weird people would come in, and we would look, and they came in for resistors or transistors or, all that stuff. I don't know. It was just a really awesome place to be. And, I don't know. I felt like the way Radio Shack has kind of been in the news lately, and it's kind of mostly fizzled out at this point. I mean, there's some talk that they're going to revive it with franchises, and their online business is doing good and stuff like that. But I was just kind of disappointed that the whole, what was pretty important to me, kind of went out. I've said it before, like kind of went out like a fart in a tent. It's just kind of dissipated and not very much fanfare. So I wanted to make a movie that would kind of tell the story and kind of preserve the history of Radio Shack, in a better light anyway.
In a better light. Actually, in parallel, I could kind of compare this. Relates to me and Robert. We first started working at Blockbuster. That's how we met and became friends. Yeah. Right, yeah. And so Blockbuster, kind of the same thing. You would run to the same customers.
Right.
They were very eccentric over certain types of movies and, indie movies or just some kind of cult hit. Like, actually, remember it back then.
And funny thing, Javi, is that there was a couple. We were in a shopping center, and in that shopping center, maybe 2 or 3 stores down next to us, there was a Radio Shack.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it's hard to believe, but at one point there was over 7,000 Radio Shacks. Which the only thing that there was more than that, it was McDonald's. I mean, there was more McDonald's than Radio Shack, but other than that, there was more Radio Shacks than anything at one point. Now they're down to, I think there's 17 left or something like that. 17.
Wow, 17.
But yeah, it's very similar to what's going on with Blockbuster. And
yeah, kind of the same thing. They fizzled out also. People still remember it. I remember seeing a post a while ago. Someone recreated a section of their house to be like Blockbuster for their kids and stuff.
Yeah.
There's still a Blockbuster independently. They're on Twitter. They post like hilarious tweets of people returning their movies, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out. That does sound interesting.
Yeah. But
is it like a parody, or is it? It's not really.
No, it's an actual store. It's independently owned.
It's like the last one or something. I think I have seen some of their stuff.
Yeah, I'll send you the information so you can check it out on Twitter. It's hilarious.
Okay, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine kind of Radio Shack's in the same light here, where people have memories, and it's one of those just chains that got impacted by this tech business evolving.
Yeah, well, yeah, with Radio Shack, they were big in the 70s with CD radios,
right,
and home stereos, and then when the 80s came around, they made the transition over to personal computers. There for a long time, really, it was really the only place you could go and buy a computer. There wasn't Apple stores or anything like that around. If you wanted a computer, you had to go to Radio Shack.
I think the first computer that my parents bought us was at Radio Shack, and maybe I'm confusing the name of the computer. I think it was a Tandy or something. They used to sell that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, Radio Shack was owned by Tandy Corporation, and and Tandy made computers too.
Okay, so that makes sense. So it was that, and then I had other memories of visiting Radio Shack a lot with my grandfather. He used to take me there a lot to get like you said, little parts, things for his he had radio, so he would try to fix them himself. His first camcorder, VHS camera, a huge thing. He bought there at Radio Shack, and I would use it to record all our little family home videos. At the age of like 8 or 9 years old, I was there with the camera, just recording everything I could do or I could see.
That's funny because actually in the movie I've got some footage of myself when I was a kid. My dad took some video of us actually for several weeks before he decided to buy the camera. He was finding out in the store, and so I've still got the tape of that. Me and my sister goofing around in the Radio Shack store. Dad trying out the video camera. So it made for some good footage for the movie, I'm sure.
Like, do you still own any kind of tech or products you had from that store?
I don't really, not much anymore. Like, not as much as I did at one point. I've been there for a long time when I was a kid. Like, whenever a repaired item would come back unrepairable, like an RC car or something like that, or a big monster truck that it would send out for repair, and it would come back that it couldn't be repaired, and then the people would never come and pick it up because it wasn't repaired. And then my dad would give it to me, and I'd just have to push it around or something because it didn't work.
What would you say to me? I remember going there a lot for the RC cars. My grandfather, as I mentioned earlier, he would take me and my brothers there a lot. We would get like RC cars. Was that one of their big sellers? One of their top big sellers, or did they have that RC cars and other equipment?
That was pretty big. Like at Christmas time, they would fill the stores up with 1,000 different models of RC cars. And I remember that little yellow RC monster truck thing was like super popular. There's even a couple of Facebook groups. Well, at least one Facebook group out there that's just dedicated to that yellow 4x4 Radio Shack remote controlled truck.
I used to remember like the Bigfoot and stuff like that.
Yeah, Bigfoot, and they had the remote control robots with had little tape decks in the front of them and stuff, and their eyes lit up.
What is actually let me go back. How long have you been making this film, or is it almost complete, or you still have a way to go?
No, we're pretty early. We're still working on the funding part of it because I've got pretty good contacts. Like I've got some. I want to reach out and interview some former, CEOs. I'd like to find. Yes. I'd actually like to go cover the whole country, kind of, and deal with and talk to I'll talk to as many people as possible, and then kind of whittle it down to see who's got the best stories and who's got. And I've even believe it or not, I've even talked to some celebrity type people who would be interested in being involved with this project as well.
Oh, that's nice.
So when you say funding,
it's starting to take shape.
Yeah, so when you say funding, from my understanding, this is being crowdfunded as well.
Yeah, I've got an Indiegogo. It's just under Indiegogo, The Life of Radio Shack, or Shack Doc. We've only raised about a little bit over $300 so far, but the word is spreading. So I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit more there, and we can go even faster. I'm going to make something either way, because I've got the groundwork in place. So, obviously the more money that is raised, then probably the better film I'll be able to make.
Yeah. Yes. So if you got more money, you mentioned like you interview more people and
travel. I'd like to personally travel some more and go interview people all over the country.
Have you found that the online you're connecting with people that are diehard Radio Shack fans that miss it? And people that are open to actually be interviewed.
I was surprised about. I'm sorry. I was surprised at how many Facebook groups there are. Like there's a Facebook group called Radio Shack. I used to work there back in the day. Facebook group called former Shackies. There's even Facebook groups of people who collect like the old Realistic and Archer brand audio video equipment and stuff like that. I'd like to go around and see some people's collections and stuff. I think that would make for some great footage for the movie.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I know there's guys that collect that, have massive collections and stuff. That would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that all sounds good. I mean, that's definitely. I mean, I'm a big documentary fan. I'm watching documentaries like weekly on Netflix.
They
put incredible documentaries. So I don't know if Netflix is listening or you're in contact with them, but you do gotta get on Netflix, 'cause that's like my home to go for documentaries. They put out
Yeah, well, we
amazing
are
work.
trying to get in contact with like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or at least one of those outlets.
If you get in one of those top three, you'll that's I think that's a done deal for you if you're able to get there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I watched a pretty good documentary. It was called 30 Years of Garbage about the Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh,
the
you
Garbage
did?
Pail Kid. Yeah, I just watched that the other day.
Was it on Netflix or one of the other apps?
I actually bought. I think I had to buy it on Amazon.
Oh,
it was
okay.
like $10.
Oh,
But it was really cool. I mean, I remember my mom used to take my Garbage Pail Kids away from me for punishment, put them on the mantle.
Oh man, but I wanted to ask you, your maybe you obviously done research for this. Where did Radio Shack do? What did they do right, and what did they do wrong to end up where they are now?
Well, I think they just at the end there. It seems like they were just super. The prices were just outrageously high.
They were,
and I think they just couldn't. I don't know if it was something that was avoidable or not because they just couldn't compete with even like places like Amazon or stuff like that. You could go and buy a piece on Amazon for 99 cents, and then you go to Radio Shack store and they want $4.99 for the same thing basically. So I think that really, at least towards the end there, that seemed to be the major downfall.
Yeah,
I'd say Amazon definitely affected a lot of companies.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other stores and chains that have gone out of business for similar reasons. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of mismanagement on the corporate end, and there's a lot of other things that could have done. There's a lot of people that say, in hindsight, oh, you could have done this or you could have done this to avoid it. But I mean, that's not. I'm going to have to mention that in the documentary, obviously, and have to tell that story of it. But I'm trying to focus more on the good times,
on the positive parts, on the community aspect of connecting with the people, right?
Right, all the other Radio Shack geeks and nerds out there. Then
what is it that they call them? They call them shackers.
Well, that's what they call the employees. They call themselves.
Okay.
Probably not everywhere, but the employees call themselves shackers. Yeah.
And you yourself were a shacker?
I was after I left college. I worked in Erie, PA. I started, and then I transferred down to Pittsburgh, and I worked for about 6 years for Radio Shack. That was my dad worked there. And we worked at different stores, obviously. But
right.
He was almost done and retired, and but I worked there for a number of years until I moved here to Clearfield, actually.
Is he going to be in the documentary?
My dad? Oh yeah, I'm sure he will be.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of thinking I'd like to tell like my family story as the small story in the documentary, and tell the whole story as of Radio Shack as the big story, but having like my family story kind of go through it and hold it all together.
Yeah, you got to give that personal touch to the film.
I've got that home video footage and stuff, so I think I'll be able to do that pretty well. Just a matter of getting all the and putting them all together and see what comes out, really.
You think you'll have like little stories about customers too, like maybe specific scenarios or that happened in the store?
Oh yeah, I would like to. Well, I don't know. It's one of those things like I don't know what I'll get, so I don't know exactly what'll make it in and what won't. I'm sure there's a billion good stories out there. It's just a matter of getting the right people to tell them, and I'd like to track down some former well, if I could talk to, I don't know if you remember, but like back in the 90s, right. Terry Hatcher and Howie Long were the spokespeople for Radio Shack for a long time. I think it'd be awesome to get an interview with them.
It would be. I mean, hopefully one of them, or if you can get both of them, that would be great. But maybe one of them can at least say a few words.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool, just to get some people like that involved in there. And I've even like some comedians. I think there has to be. I don't know this for sure, but there has to be some celebrities or comedians or somebody who have worked at Radio Shack and they're famous people. I'm sure.
Certainly, there has to be
7,000 stores. I'm sure some people who worked at Radio Shack went on to become, something.
Did they have Did they have those stores only in North America, or were they internationally as well?
They were international. They were all over the place. I mean, the 7,000 stores I think were all in the United States, but well, I mean that probably includes Canada. That's probably all North America.
Mm-hmm.
That probably includes everywhere. But they had stores in the UK and they had stores in in China and not China, Japan.
Because it'd be
and,
great if you can get some
Australia.
international responses as well on your film.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you ever saw the one. They made one actually. Colin Hanks' son made one about Tower Records.
Oh, I heard about it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that was really good. And Tower Records is still actually going pretty strong in Japan.
Right.
And he mentioned that in there. Actually, he was on Chris Hardwick's podcast, the Nerdist podcast, promoting that a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now. And he said towards the end of the interview, they asked him. He said that people were asking him, "Okay, now you made a Tower Records documentary. Next, you're gonna have to make a Radio Shack documentary." And he said he didn't want. Maybe that would be good, but he didn't want to do it. So that's kind of when I heard. That's kind of where I got the idea. Honestly, was when he said that, and I was like, "Oh, if he's not gonna make it, surely somebody else will make it." And I waited a little while to see if anybody else was gonna make one,
right?
And they did. So I was like, "Oh, I guess that's have to be me."
It's gonna have to be you. And this is the first time you've taken on a project like this. The first time you're making a film.
Yeah, I've never made a movie before. Like I do make like safety videos and stuff for the company that I work for, but no, I've never made a full feature length movie like this or anything even close to this before. No.
Oh, all right. And what's your let's say you get the funding and you're able to get all this completed the way you envision it. Where do you plan to take this film? Do you plan to shop it around to festivals as well?
I would like to do that. I would like to have a premiere down in Fort Worth, which is where Radio Shack was based.
Oh, okay.
Fort Worth, Texas. And I think that I could organize something pretty big down there for like a premiere. But I think a lot of people in Fort Worth were where they were Radio Shack forever. So I think that would be a pretty good place to start. And then like maybe just like rent out a theater and sell tickets or whatever. And yeah, I wouldn't mind going around to some festivals, like, because I think this has kind of a nerdy appeal, so I maybe could even do like, comic book conventions, and they usually have film festivals.
Oh, certainly. You have to go there. I mean,
yeah.
And people our age, and, I don't know about the younger people, but people our age and a little older, they know what Radio Shack is.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, as soon as you said nerdy and in Fort Worth, I know it's more like in Dallas, but like an Alamo Draft House or something like that.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be too far away, and that maybe would be ideal.
Yeah, I actually live in the Dallas area, so you say Fort Worth, I was like, oh yeah.
Well, you're invited.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, that's great. You're invited, Javier, to the premiere. Oh, but yeah, I came across this on, like I mentioned earlier, online, and now that you mention it, I think I might have heard it on the Nerdist. That's where
he just mentioned it on there with this last weekend, the one that came out last weekend.
That's probably when I heard it, and then that's probably when I reached out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I gotta get this guy on this, so my listeners can help support this. I mean, I'm gonna support it. I'm gonna go to the Indiegogo and do my part. So
thing was greatly appreciated for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm dying to see this film. Like I love documentaries. I love how things are come to fruition, and then in this case it has an ending, and I'm looking forward to that ending as well. Even though we kind of know how it ended, but it's still like your vision is clearly going to go a different path. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
It's about the journey.
Yeah, the journey.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's the story. This is the life of Radio Shack, not the death of Radio Shack.
Exactly, the life. We're not celebrating the other aspect of it. But yeah, man.
I was awesome. Reading about it actually earlier. I think it was in Big Bang Theory or Young Sheldon, something like that. They had like a little cameo for the Radio Shack.
On the very first episode, he wanted to. His mom told him if he was good, she'd take him to Radio Shack. And at the end, he said something like, "If in a world where nothing is, you can't rely on anything. At least I know this place will always be here." And they pulled back and it's a Radio Shack store. It was pretty hilarious. But people are still, Radio Shack's still a thing, and it's not like it's been completely forgotten. So I think that this idea is a good idea, and I think people will want to see this. So I'm excited about it.
I'm definitely excited to see come to fruition and watch watch the story you're going to tell.
And
appreciate that.
Where again can people go? Do you have a website or just the Indiegogo?
Okay, it's pretty easy to find. You can just go to Google actually and type in Radio Shack documentary, and it's like one of the first things that pops up because there are no other Radio Shack documentaries.
Nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, nobody else is doing it. So, or you can just Indiegogo, Life of Radio Shack or Shack Doc, and any of that you can find it pretty easy.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
we have the teaser trailers up right now. It's about a minute and a half long teaser trailer, just to kind of give a vibe for the movie. I mean, it's just mostly just clips of other things, but it just kind of gives the vibe that I'm going for. And that's it.
Okay, cool. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and as well as post it on our Twitter and social media so we can let people know where to go to check it out, check out the teaser, and back it as Indiegogo says. I think that's their term, back it.
Yeah, back it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was Javier. You got anything else? I guess not. Javier's mic cut off.
No, I didn't hear anything for a while there.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying if you got anything else before we sign off with Sean.
No, you guys covered it. We'll hopefully people listen and information and fun for this project. It'll be fun to watch.
We also have a page on Facebook. They just want to keep track of what's going on. There's a Facebook page, Life of Radio Shack.
Oh, okay.
The documentary.
Oh, cool.
So you can just follow or like that page too. And that'll just keep you up to date on what's going on.
Oh, cool. I'll go ahead and put that as well in the description of the episode.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So that's it, Sean. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just appreciate you having me on, and it was good talking to you guys.
All right. Same to you, Sean. Thank you for being on our podcast.
All right, you guys have a good night.
All right. So it was great talking to Sean. Please back his documentary, The Life of Radio Shack, a documentary. It's on Indiegogo. I'm going to have the link on the description of this episode. Any podcast app that you're listening on, you click on the description. You're going to see the link to his Indiegogo. I'm also going to include the link to his Facebook page and our link to our sponsor, Loot Crate and Gamefly, so you can get those discounts and discount with Loot Crate and free month with Gamefly. Thanks a lot for checking us out here and listening. This is the better word to say. I'll keep this short. Have a fun week and subscribe to us so you can get new episodes automatically downloaded on your phone or podcast app. Subscribe to us. That's the best way. And please review us on iTunes or any podcast app that allows for reviews. Thank you.